nobody's tuned in anymore. Are people actually tuned in, into their own hearts? Are you in touch with your own actual self, with your own uniqueness? Are you actually listening to your own intuition as you're going through your life? Because here's the problem. Most people are not in touch with their own infinite nature. They're just in touch with their own ego, with what the world taught them about how they should live, how they should behave, what they can and cannot pursue according to, their own upbringing, what other people believe that they were capable of doing. How can somebody else tell you what you're capable of doing if you're an expression of infinite awareness, of infinity, quite literally? In religion they call it God, but okay, if you want to use that term, how could someone tell you what you're capable of doing if you are an expression of God, if you're the offspring of God's, eternal being? That's what the premise is all about. Regardless whether you believe in these terms or not of God and infinite awareness, I would still say to you, isn't it true that your mind has been programmed to operate in a certain way? And the programming, how did that get inside of our consciousness? Well, it's obviously when you are born very rapidly, usually it's the parents will put you in the school system, right? Because the government actually demands it as well at the same time. But you get put into the school system, you get taught a bunch of things that you should obey and that are claiming that this is the way to live, this is how you should behave, and if you do so, you'll be happy. Well, that is not true. That is not true at all. But you have to be willing to look at it with an open mind, and you realize there's many educated people out there in the world that aren't happy at all, that aren't successful, that feel stuck, that have huge debts because of the school system that they went through, or that they even fell from. If they, dropped out of school, that happens too. They got these huge debts. Is that making them happy? I don't think so. But they were taught that if they followed the system, they would be happy. They would have a future, a chance at a good life. But here I'm saying to you, as the title of the video also suggests, you don't have to read more books, you just have to tune into your heart. You have to tune with infinite awareness. You basically drop everything that you were told about yourself. This is really fun to do and also pretty disturbing at the same time initially. Because, the ego has such a great grasp on your consciousness. Ego is what blocks you from feeling and being aware of your own infinite awareness. It is ego that makes it hard for you to be aware of your own awareness. So the ego has to go. But how do you make it go away? Well, by simply letting go of the labels. Your ego operates with labels. Ego says, I am a man. Maybe you are a woman, so then your ego would say, I am a woman. Ego says, I am this or that age. Ego says, I am from this country or that country. Ego says, I am this race. Ego says, I'm this religion. Ego is a construction of this world. Ego is part of the system of society as it is set up. So the egoic patterns of the mind are such that they keep you limited in your perception of who you are and what you're capable of doing and what life is all about. So by letting go of these labels, by daring to just be like, by consciously affirming to yourself, I am not really my age. Am I? You're not, because it's constantly changing. There's no stability in it. Well, okay, I'm not really a man, am I? Well, here's where things get a little trickier for most people, because you're so used to seeing your body. You're constantly carrying this body around, right? So for me, it's true. I could look at it and I'm like, well, according to this world, I'm a man. Okay, that's fine. Physically speaking, I might be a man, but spiritually speaking, what am I? See, who am I? The great spiritual question of consciousness. Who am I? Well, consciousness is genderless. If you are a state of awareness, infinite awareness, you have to be willing to let go of your own ego. You have to be willing to go beyond these labels. So what is left? If all these aspects of yourself fell away, what is still left? Well, it's your own awareness of being. And this is the hardest thing to grasp, but it's the most magnificent thing at the same time. If you can grasp that you are a state of infinite awareness, that is just having a human experience, right? all these labels that we're talking about are just experiences within your own field of awareness, within your own consciousness. See, I'm currently having the experience of being a man, of making this video, being a content creator, of doing this stuff, sharing stuff about the mind with the world. It's just an experience, it's not the real me at all. And the more I meditate upon that, and the more I contemplate the fact that I am infinite awareness, and you are infinite awareness as well, a state of awareness that has been completely blinded by all these labels, the more I realize how important it is to keep doing this work, to keep concentrating on it for myself, to keep trying to tell humanity about it in my own way. That you are not the labels that you've been given. As long as you believe you are these labels, you're going to fight to protect them. This is where all the wars and conflicts come from in this world. It's people trying to defend the labels that they think they are, but they're only experiences. They get so full of pride about the race that they are, the country that they're from. All these things are labels, temporary things. They don't actually mean anything. Yet we make them so important that we would go to war over, I am from this country, I am greater than you. It's all nonsense. Ultimately, we're all from the same source. This whole universe came from the same source. And then all these labels are man-made. You see, the labels. Again, why did these labels even come about? Well, to a certain extent, it was probably initially to keep some sort of balance in this world, to keep things from being too chaotic, to make clear distinctions between things and people, just to make it more easy to navigate this world. But you see, in that process, a huge problem arose within the consciousness of humanity. And that is that now all these labels have blocked consciousness from seeing its own infinity. The labels have made you limited in the way you think and imagine. This is a real problem. See, it's the labels about who you are, where you are, what you do, how the world works that keep you blind, that limit your mind and imagination. It is this whole societal system that wants you to measure success in a certain way instead of giving it your own definition and be free to pursue what you are passionate about. I am infinite awareness, so I can do whatsoever I please. I don't have to follow any man-made definition about anything. I should, however, try and avoid hurting other people while living from this state of consciousness. See, if I just live according to my own infinite awareness about what infinite awareness is telling me that I should be doing, I would be totally free. My life would have the meaning I give it myself. Of course, that's why we also say we should try to avoid hurting others in this process though. But it's pretty easy, because if you operate from infinite awareness, you operate from such a passionate, expanded level of awareness itself, that you will actually never feel the need to hurt anyone, because you're completely in tune with the infinite. And that means in tune with God, and you know God is love. This is a true statement. So where does all the evil and bad stuff come from? It comes from humanity. God has nothing to do with that. At its core, it doesn't. You see, the thing is, humanity with its labels starts to fight over things, starts to create conflict and chaos. It starts to destroy itself through its own ignorance of who they really are. You know, there's no difference between human beings at all. I mean, yeah, you could say physically, genetically, stuff like that. You know, again, the finite world shows all this variety and stuff. But if you take a human being from America and you take a same human being from Japan or from Russia or China, whatever, you put them side by side, right? Well, initially you see physical differences. It's part of the labels. It's keeping your mind blocked. It's keeping your mind limited. Watch out. There are all these labels through which you measure things. So look beyond the labels. You have these two human beings, right? Well, we are assuming here that they don't have any mental disabilities either, so they're standing next to each other. American and Chinese people, a Chinese person. They both have a consciousness. Both have a subconscious mind. But here's the biggest point that we want to understand. They both are infinite awareness. They both are a state of awareness having experiences. One is experiencing themselves as American, the other is experiencing themselves as being Chinese. When you think about it, that's at the essence of this all. They're all experiences. And behind that experience is infinite awareness, your own infinite self. That is who you really are. The spiritual side of you is infinite, eternal. If you don't understand that, if you identify yourself with the labels of this world, of being an American specifically, then you're going to be dragged all over the place through mass hypnotic consciousness. This is what happens all over the world. People are dragging each other all over the place, and it has to stop. Because none of us are our name, none of us are our age, our race, our gender. We're all part of infinite awareness, having these physical experiences. And the more you look at it from this angle, the more peaceful you will become. The more in tune with your actual self, with your actual nature, you will become. This is why, ultimately, it's not about ramming more and more information into our heads. It's about opening our hearts further and further to the truth that we are infinite awareness, having a human experience. Contemplate it deeply, and then let it guide you towards eternal bliss.